just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
This person is just a random dead person to her.
Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
Once again, so is Larisha Thompson. So is Ava Moore. So is Rachel Morin. So is Jocelyn Nungary, and so many others. There are too many names to even rattle off. But in the mind of Jasmine Crockett,
stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to Illinois. Why is that? Because we have to speak on J.B. Pritzker, and we have to talk about him because, as I predicted, J.B. Pritzker is not only simply blaming Donald Trump for the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but he's also blaming January 6th. You can't make this stuff up. These guys keep digging in a well or casting their bucket in a well that clearly is dry. That January 6th talk is what lost you the election, a part of what lost you the election, and you're still casting your bucket down that well. I just want to take a moment to play this quick clip from my video yesterday when I said that, and then we're going to get into, J.B. Pritzker right afterwards. But look at this. And the people who are claiming that they were fighting for our freedoms are the very people, and it comes from a very political party that is the one that's committing all the violence that we've seen thus far since Trump has gotten to office. And the only thing retards like him are going to turn around and say, what about January 6th? January 6th? What about January 6th? These people. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, here is J.B. Pritzker.
My sympathy to Charlie Kirk's family and to Charlie Kirk, who obviously has, become a target for somebody. I don't know whether it's political violence because I don't know who did it. I know they seem to have somebody in custody. But I will say that political violence, unfortunately, has been ratcheting up in this country. We saw the shootings, the killings in Minnesota. We've seen other political violence occur in other states, and I would just say it's got to stop. And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence.
I mean, once again, please keep doing this. First off, please keep casting your bucket in an empty well. That's precisely what we need to make sure lunatics like you never get back in power again. But that's all they have. They have no other game plan. They have no new script, no new rhetoric. Just January 6th, when all else fails, pull out January 6th. These people, their inability to take accountability for their words and the constant demonization of Trump, not just saying that his policies are dumb and stupid and harmful, but going as far as to continuously echoing on their mainstream media platforms, which is vast. It's pretty much all mainstream media with the exception of Fox News, saying that Trump is a Nazi, that Trump is Hitler, his supporters are Nazis, and they want to essentially, put everybody in chains and put them in camps in which they can lose their lives, concentration camps. We even have people, I played the video in a few videos back, you have Karen Bass saying nonsense like Latinos are being hunted. When you're saying something like this, they're being hunted by masked men.
It really amounts to hunting people that look like they're Latino. It's hard to get your car washed in LA now. Why? Because they prey on car washes.
When they're saying stuff like this, you are creating the environment that perpetuates violence. That is you creating that. So when you say stuff that is that inflammatory and that is untrue on top of that, right? But these people can't help themselves. They can't help themselves. Look at this here, man, because I want to make a greater point with this right here. How many of you guys saw when they attempted to have a moment of silence in the House, right? House of Representatives. Try to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And Democrats acted a whole fool, refusing to give the moment of silence. And I want to take a moment to watch this and make a greater point to how unbelievably hypocritical Democrats are with their actions and statements in light of Charlie Kirk's assassination. These people continue to show how utterly disgusting they are. So let's get into this clip first.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
Shh. You might not be able to hear, but it's Lauren Boebert. I think stated that can we have a moment of silence and prayer for Charlie Kirk? And look at the Democrats.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. Shh. The House will be in order. We will join prayer right after this, okay?
Look at Maxine Waters right there. I know a bad wig when I see one, okay? I know a bad wig when I'm looking at one. Maxine Waters right there in the corner with her back turned to the Speaker of the House. But here's the greater point that I wanted to make, because I know, I played that video just now. And just the fact that I'm making this video, some of you're going to be crying. The wailing and gnashing of teeth in my comment section yesterday was amazing to see. I'm sure there'll be more wailing and gnashing of teeth over me making another Charlie Kirk video. Keep crying, but just you're all hypocrites. So just stop talking. The DNC lunatics, you guys drive me crazy, because while they won't give him a moment of silence, because I guess apparently, he's everything negative under the sun. This is also the same group of people, right? I'll put it to you like this. Can you attribute any loss of life to Charlie Kirk? Who has he killed, right? What position of power has he held to which he's able to influence policy, to which the policy that he influenced took people's lives? You can't give me any names, none of that. But when it comes to Democrats, including Maxine Waters, Jasmine Crockett, all the DNC lunatics, right? Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren. Let's rattle off some names, right? Have you ever heard of Larisha Thompson? Yeah, Larisha Thompson, 40-year-old Black woman, killed by 6 people, not just people, illegal immigrants, between the ages of 13 to 21. And they were all immigrants from Honduras. They were Biden's migrants, came in during the migrant crisis. Have you ever heard of another Black woman, Ava Moore, only 18 years old? She was killed by who? Biden's migrants again. Have you ever heard of Rachel Morin? Of course you have. 27-year-old white woman, killed by who? Biden's migrants. What about Jocelyn Nungaray? Only 12 years old, 12-year-old Hispanic little girl. Her life was taken by who? Biden's migrants. And these people who have the audacity to want to sit here in the House, and even you in the comment section, you're so high and mighty. Oh my God, Charlie Kirk was an evil person. You all supported and to this day defend open border policies that led to the murder of these people of all race, colors, and creeds. And if you broaden the scope out beyond murder, when you're talking about violating women and children, when I say violating, that's my term for the R word, RAPE, the violating of women and children, the thefts, the assaults, arsons in some cases, the vandalizing of property. If you take that in its entirety on top of the murders, there is so much dirt, blood, and dead bodies that you can specifically point out, show the pictures of, the names of, the ages of these people. That's all on Democrats' hands. And they'll sit here and pretend like they don't know what you're talking about and that it's not their fault. And they'll dismiss it, all the dead bodies, as if it's nothing, because that's how they look at them, as nothing. And I want to prove that to you right now. Look at this here, because I want to prove to you how much of we all know how disgusting Jasmine Crockett is, but let me even further prove that point to highlight what I'm saying right now. Look at this here. So this was a bill that was introduced by Congressman Russell Fry, right? Congressman Russell Fry out of South Carolina introduces the Kayla Hamilton Act to protect American communities from dangerous UAC placements, right? Now, Kayla Hamilton, if I remember correctly, was another young girl, very young girl, a child, I believe, who was murdered by an illegal immigrant. And this bill was named after her, and they hope to get this bill passed, obviously Republicans, right? Listen to how Jasmine Crockett referred to this young girl who was killed by one of Biden's migrants, which is essentially the Democrats' migrants, because you let them all in mass, unvetted and unchecked. Listen to how disgusting these people are. Listen to Jasmine Crockett.
Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
She said, stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something. That was in reference to that bill here.
Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
This person is just a random dead person to her.
Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
Once again, so is Larisha Thompson. So is Ava Moore. So is Rachel Morin. So is Jocelyn Nungary. And so many others. There are too many names to even rattle off. But in the mind of Jasmine Crockett,
stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something.
Stop just throwing a random dead person's name on something. These people are truly disgusting. Truly, truly, truly disgusting. And once again, unbelievable hypocrites, because no one likes throwing around dead names as much as Democrats do. Have you all forgotten about this here? Let's speak directly to Democrats for a moment. Have you all forgotten about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act? Talk about pimping a dead person's name. Whoa. Yeah. Let's not even go there. When you want to talk about pimping out the name of somebody, of a dead person, and just using it for political gain, right? They don't even talk about him anymore. Like what happened? What happened to the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act? Like they just crumbled that up and threw it in the trash. How about this? The John Lewis Voting Rights Act. He's a dead person also. You put his name on that bill, looking to pass it. And what's hilarious too, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, the John Lewis Voting Right Act, the Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House and didn't pass any of this stuff, mind you. You know what I mean? But that's not even the point. That's not even the point. The point that is part of the point as well, right? The point is that they just use these names just to use them, but they plan on doing nothing with it as far as passing bills. But they don't mind using it as a political fodder, I think the term is, right? They have no problem using the name of dead people. And like I said in the last video, I'm going to say it again, and I've been saying it since pre-election. Notice how every time you hear these Democrats speak with such conviction against Republicans / conservatives / MAGA, they're always projecting. They are always talking about themselves, always. And people see that. And that's what's currently destroying the Democrat Party, because the people see it. I want to play this clip from Elizabeth Warren here, where she was very nasty. She was asked, should the Democrats tone down their rhetoric a little bit in light of Charlie Kirk being assassinated? And look at the response, the disgust on her face. These people that are so high and mighty, stop talking all this high and mighty equity, equality, and all this stuff. Shut up. Tolerance. Be quiet. You don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. You only believe in power, maintaining your position of power and fattening your pockets. That's it. But all that equity, equality stuff, man, shut up, man. Throw it in the trash. The jig is up, and everybody knows it. Let's look at Elizabeth Warren be nasty when she was asked about toning down her rhetoric.
Oh, please. Right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States? Right? And every ugly meme he has posted and every ugly word.
There's a reason that the Democrat Party is collapsing right now. And it's mainly because of this right here. I never thought that I'd see the day. And we don't want to count our, chickens before they hatch. But in my opinion, the midterms are pretty locked in for Republicans now at this point. It's pretty locked in. It's pretty locked in. In 2028, forget about it. Unless something devastating happens, unless we have another C-19 situation again, like JD Vance or Marco Rubio is going to be president in 2028. Okay, that's just kind of a foregone conclusion. Like I said, I don't want to count my chickens too early, but it's pretty obvious, especially in the light of this, right? I'm going to play this clip very quickly. We've all seen this already, but let me throw this up for you guys.
All 30 states that track party registration. We're putting on the screen the data. It shows altogether Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters. Republicans have gained 2.4 million. That's a deficit that you have of 4.5 million voters.
Well, you guys are burying yourselves. You are burying yourselves. Democrats are in a deficit of 4.5 million voters. Remember, that's not just new voters that are registering Republican. That's also independents switching over to Republican. And that's also Democrats switching over to Republican, because everybody's seeing you guys for who you are, which is wicked demons. I mean, that was just such a look how demonic Elizabeth Warren looked again.
Please. Right. Why don't you start with the President of the United States?
I don't want to hear any more of what she has to say. Just look at her face. Just look at her face. Just evil. And once again, why are people switching over? Because they see it. Look at this young boy here, this young man, I want to say, this young man, and what he's going to say. He's a Democrat. He's a registered Democrat. And listen to what he said in light of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Check this out here.
As a registered Democrat, all I have to say is the Charlie Kirk shooting just proves that we are the worst, man. My party is the fucking worst. I got people celebrating, hoping that he dies. Are we fucking for real right now? Where's the empathy? Where's the respect, man? It's disgusting. It's disgusting, truly. And the fact of the matter is this: he was a father, and whether or not I agree with his political opinions, all he truly wanted to do at the core was see this country be the best. And I can fucking respect that. And to see people just be blatantly disgusting, man, we're the worst, man. We're horrible.
See, now some of you sit up here and say, oh man, it's fake. Well, you don't know who he really is. Maybe he's just an undercover conservative. No, I highly doubt it. I mean, because the numbers you already saw the numbers. You already saw the data, right? So no, I believe this from him, that he's an actual registered Democrat, 1000%. Now, did he say he switched his alliance over to Republicans? No, he hasn't done that, but he's voicing his frustration with how disgusting the Democrats are. But this is also making people flip parties just off of this alone. And I'm going to read this tweet off for you in closing. Check this out here. Look at this. So this tweet here comes from, obviously we can see he's an Asian gentleman. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try. The first name is spelled S-I-Q-I and then last name Chen. So we'll just say S.Chen, Mr. Chen, right? But look what he put here. My entire life, I voted Democrat. Donated the max to Obama, got a photo and had him talk about my toe shoes on the stump. And this is what he's talking about here. You see Obama pointing at his toe shoes, right? They had a nice little funny moment. They took a nice little photo here. That was, pretty nice and cool of Obama, we'll say, right? He goes on to say, pulled my kid out of preschool in 2016 after Trump won because their teacher was MAGA. Voted Kamala last year. Today, I registered Republican. This guy here. If you think that the actions and the nonsense that's coming out of Democrats right now isn't hurting them, think again. And I'll say this much as I wrap the video up. I want to say this. If you think that $4.5 million, $4.5 million, if you think that 4.5 million voter deficit is all that there is as far as the number is concerned, when we're talking about people leaving the Democrat Party, leaving even being independent and going straight into the Republican Party, that's not counting the millions of people who just have not gone out of their way to switch parties. It's not counting that. Technically, on paper, I'm a registered Democrat. On paper, but I'm clearly not a Democrat. Okay, clearly not. I registered Democrat back in when Obama was running. Was it 2008? And to be honest with you, I wasn't too keen on voting for Obama. I wasn't keen on voting for anybody back then. We're talking about a long time ago now. When back then my political stance were Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coin. No, neither one is better than the other. And it doesn't matter who you vote for because the president of the United States is selected, right? You know, all those kind of talking points. And that's what I strongly believed back then. But especially if you're black, you know this for a fact. Your family and friends put so much pressure on you. I promise you, I was going to be disowned by all family and friends and be out here by myself, alone in this world, if I didn't vote for Obama. So I registered Democrat and voted for Obama, you know, out of pure peer pressure. But the point is I'm still a registered Democrat on paper, but clearly I'm not that, right? So if you take into account that 4.5 million voter deficit that Democrats currently have, it is significantly larger than that. If you take into account the number of people who just haven't taken it upon themselves to officially switch over on paper. If you were to actually take those people into account, they're probably about 10 million in the hole, man. 10 million in the hole. And their response to this Charlie Kirk assassination is not doing them any favors. It's not doing them any favors at all. DNC is cooked. They're cooked. And thank goodness for that. With all that being said, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And please do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.